down, I'm actually going to roll this in and out, so it'll kind of have that RWB look. I want.
Outside the Box should be viewed by mature audiences only. This show contains strong language, adult situations, drinking, ass-kicking fun, law-breaking nonsense, running with scissors, and just about everything your mother told you not to do. In other words, we are a bad influence and are irresponsible adults. Viewer discretion is advised.
What's up, car people interwebs? Welcome back to the Wicked Garage. I am Oz, and this is an update on Miss Murder. I know it's been about a month since we posted our last couch tune, which had told you some of the stuff that was going on with Miss Murder, like the rocker panels and whatnot. Wanted to take a few minutes and talk to you guys about that and update it, because, as you know, you can hear my voice is a little screwed up because of the sinus, which happens in the fall. In the fall, it's also the beginning of teardown season and building for next spring. So things have gotten a little more hectic, or not hectic, but gotten a little more involved, gotten a little more crazier than I was starting to talk about on the last update in the couch tune. If you haven't seen that, click back over, check that out first, and then come back over here, and you can kind of see what we're talking about. For the rest of you guys, let's go ahead and look at the car. So, as you may recall, this is where we kind of left off on some of the build. Me and Pee Wee were working on building the inner structure here for the box. He's got it pretty much roughed out. And we're working on building an amp rack now, which is going to sit in here like this. It's going to be covered up with plexiglass windows so you can see in to see what's going on. Obviously, you guys have seen this, which it should be in primer now, but for some reason I did it, and that's kind of a good thing because this right here ends up getting broken, and I've got to fix it. Gas door is now done. Well, ready for primer. Now, I ended up doing the other side, but in doing so, I actually made two of the other side and went to put it in here, and it didn't fit. These are not the same, so you can't use the one side on the other. They're completely different shaped, and so I actually made another one. But that's done. You can see here that I started on some of the body work, but I ended up, I put the whole seat in and all that. When I did that, I ended up putting this in, the seat striker, and when I went to take it out, I ended up cracking out my bodywork. So I'm going to be redoing that. This side still seems to be intact. Of course, I haven't taken this side out yet. But, there's a recap on what's going on in there. The box is really well done. I love Pee Wee's work. He rounded the edges off here and smoothing this together really nice, and it is going to look really great. Now I got to figure out how I'm going to wrap it. Yeah, I said wrap, vinyl wrap, but with material, not with the sticker. But we've got some ideas that I'm going to talk to some of my other buddies about, building some really cool stuff in the background, maybe some LED lighting and whatnot. So there is a recap on what's going on in the trunk. Okay, so here we have the rocker, which we talked about in the couch tune episode. And you can tell it's still cut off on this side, but it is boxed on the inner and it's fixed all the way across so that the inner structure is all intact again. And now when these things get water in them, like the rockers start to rust out, there are holes in the side that allow the water to then get into the inner structure, which it'll just sit in, and then it ends up rusting out. So when you're doing your rockers, chances are you're going to end up doing these as well. And this is simple. It's just a box piece that's on the, welded under the chassis. So I just cut it down all the rusted area out, and then just recapped it with a new piece of sheet metal, and then welded it solid. And then I will end up putting the rockers on it, which I'll show you on the other side. All right, so on this side, you can see we have a rocker. It started out as this here, which is the rocker for a Toyota 4Runner, which is funny because the wheelbase on the 4Runner is a lot longer than the Scion XB, and if you put it up here, it is a lot shorter. So much so that this last foot, I actually built by forming the sheet metal over the top of the rocker and building that, instead of going and buying another rocker piece and having to cut it into two pieces and then make it work. So I ended up saving some money there. Now, the section I just showed you is actually down here. I put 2 inches of metal in here to drop it down a little bit to give that shape that I wanted to kind of resemble that on a second gen XB. I was originally going to do that and then graft the side skirt in, but this gives it one piece, all metal, and it has that same look. Now, if you remember in the last video, I was talking about how I cut the fender. So I cut the fender here, where instead it would overlap over the top of the rocker here, this will now come over and look a little more clean. It's still a little short here because I'm not exactly sure what I'm going to do. This may end up coming out this way because I do kind of like that beveled edge, which if you kind of see there. Now, I was initially going to do it also like a Rocket Money, cut the fender off up higher, like in here, and then sucking that in. But I really do like that beveled edge look. So I think I'm going to go somewhere along the lines of that. But the nice thing about cutting it here is that we now have that single line that runs all the way down. And it'll go up into the wheel arch in the back, and it'll be a lot more clean. You'll just have that one simple line that kind of flows all the way down, and that's kind of the idea. Now, as you can kind of see here, it kind of has a curve at the back, which is what we really want, because if you can kind of see from there, you can see that the tire is out just a little bit further than normal. And that's not a mistake. That's actually something that is going to happen, and is part of the reason why the door is off. So here you can kind of see how that rolls out just a little bit into the wheel well there. Now, as you look, you can kind of see how exposed that tire is. Well, I cut out portions of the dog leg to make room for that tire to come out, because I want to put something on there with a lip, which I'm kind of concerned about, but I did a little bit of research, thanks to all those guys that actually answered my question about XBs with fat lips, because it kind of gave me an idea on what I was going to have to do here. So, okay, now for the back. You can kind of see we're poking out quite a bit. Considering if we walk over here, we're flush. Now, I'm not going to just end it here like the Rocket Money guys. I'm actually going to cut the rear bumper and bring that out. I think it'll give it a nice flare off of the back and give it a really cool effect, you know, looking at it from behind. That way you'll be able to tell from behind that it's widened. Okay, from here you can kind of see how much is cut out of the wheel well and how this is going to affect that as well. I want a little bit of poke out, but I don't want a whole lot. And now if you look down here and you see the way this is, how this is coming down, I'm actually going to roll this in and out, so it'll kind of have that RWB look. I want that look, but I don't want it too exaggerated because I think it'll look a little weird having that much of a flare on a square vehicle. And that's kind of my concern. You know, I appreciate all you guys that got back to me on the post I put about wide lip wheels on XBs, because I was really kind of concerned about what was on there. And I wanted to see how far they stick it out. And some of it seems really exaggerated. I think it looks kind of odd. You know, some of it's really cool. But, you know, for the look I'm going for, I want it to be pretty subtle, but yet not subtle, if that makes any sense. Alright, as you can see, the back door is off, which made it a little easier to do some of that jam work. And also to, well, the rocker and to get into the jam here. But it's not like that just for that very reason. I'm actually planning on doing suicide doors on it because I've watched those guys that have them for some time, and I'm like, God damn, that looks good. And I'm jealous, so I got to do it. But I've had an idea since thinking about it that if I was to take the hinges off of the back door and flip them around, that you could do the front door. So, I am currently working on that. Lower hinge is actually just completely flipped around. I cut out the post there a little bit to make some access for the hinge. The upper hinge, I had to weld onto it a bit, but it is now in the exact same spot as it is in the back door, or when you do the back door. It's measured off of it and lined up completely. So then I had to cut into the door to make the access for it, which was really tight because, as you can see, the window track is right there. And then here on the bottom, you can see that I had to cut parts of the post out of there. But the door closes. It lines up to where we need it. So now we just got to build the pockets on that. Now, I'm going to do something a little bit odd. Both back doors will be suicide. This is going to be the only front door suicided. Reason being is twofold. I want to be able to get out of the car suicide. But on the passenger side at car shows, I want to be able to open both doors and have an unobstructed view down the middle so that you can walk up and look into the car from both sides. Or, you know, both front and back, just from one spot. Still have the door panel in here. I'm not happy with the gap I had to put in to do the pull. I may actually be doing something now. Since I'm going to be doing the door poppers, I may just hook a switch into it and then make it so that you push a button to do the pop the doors. And that's where we are as of now, which is October 14th, 2023. And, you know, that's where we'll be going. So make sure that you hit the like, share, subscribe buttons and all that to keep up to when we post these videos, because it's a little hectic sometimes. They come at sporadic times, as you guys, some of you guys know, because was 2 years. Anyway, the other thing is I want you guys to jump on our Outside the Box media page. In the background here, I got it up, and you can see people are answering the question that I had posted up today about what you're working on over the winter, because I get my motivation by seeing what you guys are working on, and hopefully I give you the same thing. And then it works into a vicious circle, and we all build cool shit, and then we can all hang out at car shows and be the cool guys. That being said, thank you guys for watching, and we will see you in the next video.